All right, so this is my kind of video response to the question Eric posted on Facebook earlier today, and it was kind of what is youth ministry going to look like in our parishes in 5 years, and I could imagine myself trying to type all my thoughts down, so I thought I'd continue this process of kind of video blogging, but really looking at just responding to that statement. What do I think youth ministry is going to look like in parishes in 5 years? And I'm really excited about the some of the new directions that we've been talking about in youth ministry over the course of the last couple of years and last couple of months. We're facing a huge challenge right now, and I think most of us know that we look at the decline rate. Somewhere between 60 and 80% of Catholics don't retain their Catholicity into adulthood. And that's true across all denominations, not just ours. We know that from National Study of Youth and Religion, as well as ongoing studies that NFCYM and other organizations have put together. And we've looked at some of the major impacting factors, and there is some indicator that large events have a lot of impact, but there's a lot of it is still just rooted in relational qualities. And I think we're looking more at more over the next 5 years at how we do small group ministry, very importantly, and how we do non-gathered ministry. About 5 years ago, when we started doing evaluation and documentation in our ministry of what was happening in parishes, we noticed that non-gathered was a significant deficit. Most parishes weren't doing any kind of intentional non-gathered youth ministry, and we saw that as a challenge. So we really took it up, and we put together some tools to help people address that in their settings, and they've been successful. And now in my parish up here in Seattle, as well as surrounding parishes, there's been a lot of conversations around. That no longer just being a deficit, but being a much needed reality. And really, it should have been a clearer indicator that some of the areas we weren't doing things may have been where we were missing those 80% of the kids. But the 80% are the unchurched, those who don't come in. And lots of times we're programming for that 20%. So I think in the next 5 years, we're going to see a bigger shift towards returning to kind of that missionary concept and looking at non-gathered ministry. I think we're going to really start seeing more people going out to where kids are at, and not in some of the ways we did it before, like ministry of presence, but with well-formed concepts of how we still do ministry of presence, but how we systematically engage young people in meaningful dialogues around their faith, just where they're at. And I think this is really in line with Christ's use of parables. And I think it's a huge skill we're going to have to develop, but being able to find that teachable moment in what the kids are encountering, opening them up to a dialogue. And part of that is really forming an authentic and honest relationship first, but being prepared, not for the missionary discourse necessarily, though I think that's important, but for taking those moments where they're asking questions, where they're finding a disconnect in their lives and us, and being able to launch into a meaningful dialogue about that, where there's equal give and take, where you're able to really present the teaching of the church. And I think there's a huge challenge for that. One of the things we've been talking about is more young adult involvement. This is a huge mission field that they could really get involved in, and the young adult ministry and youth ministry really need to start mirroring each other a little bit more, in the sense of young adults being missionaries to youth. And I don't think this is to the exclusion of others, but I think as young adult ministry starts to form, we'll see more young, vibrant voices step into this process. Other major changes, besides, I think a lot of decentralization is going to happen along with that non-gathered ministry increasing. The youth minister really stepping into the role of minister and less of that relational capacity, empowering others. I think that's going to continue. But I do think big events will continue to be a big deal as moments of evangelization, as moments of helping renew that ardor for Christ that we're called to do as we focus on that new evangelization, not just in this year of faith, but in the future. And I think because of technology and a lot of other things, that's all going to increase. But people are going to start looking for that. Where do we gather? How do we connect around this? So I think if we can really capture the main components of that non-gathered piece of going out to them, of really being missionaries in the world and baptizing the culture, we're going to see a huge response of a desire to come together, not just at large events like NCYC or DCYCs or junior high rallies or any of those kind of things. So I think that'll happen. I think at our gathered events at our parish, at Mass, we're going to see a whole lot more impact from that. We're going to see kids coming hungry, wanting to know why all of a sudden they have people from their community, young adults, full adults, older high school students to junior high students, whoever it may be, coming out and investing in them. And when they see that love, and when they see that desire to be with them, they're going to return that with a desire to come back and be with us. And I think that's going to be a 5-year process. And I think junior high kids are already showing me a lot of that. And I think they have a desire and a hunger that is more approachable in that capacity. So those are just some of my quick thoughts. It's already been 5.5 minutes, which is way too long, but that's why I wanted to do it this way, because I figured I could get it all down better. Yeah, Eric, great question. Hope other people have thoughts too. Otherwise, this is just going to be really awkward that I posted this.